Good evening, everybody. It's the third episode of Current Events today, and as usual, you have me, Life, and Tez over here. So today we have fresh new topics that we're going to be talking about. So, as usual, guys, please like and subscribe and follow us on our pages. And then we start today.
Uh, I think we just had comments on the last show about having a great show, and yeah, I think it was more of a upliftment, so to say, that we should keep on doing what we're doing. So we appreciate those comments that came in about the show. So it shows that it's receiving good feedback. At the meantime, while we're just doing our third episode, so there's still going to be more episodes coming up.
Yep. So yeah, thank you guys for that, for the interaction. Thank you for the people that have viewed their opinions and showed their support. Thank you for that. So far, there's not been any critics, so please don't be shy. Just share whatever you think, good or bad. There's no good or bad actually. It's just opinions. And point of views. So it will be nice. So yeah, thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. So today, what are we talking about? We're talking about uh, the Gauteng Liquor Forum. So basically, the SAB wanted the liquor ban.
But is this the SAB, or is just the Gauteng Liquor Forum? Because
Don't they like
if it was SAB, I think it would be for the whole country.
it's just Gauteng.
It says Gauteng Liquor Forum. I think Gauteng is the one that has the problem. They want alcohol in Gauteng.
Well, it really doesn't. Okay, it doesn't matter who wants alcohol. At the end of the day, it's a bad idea. You can't be selling people. You can't be selling things to people that make their health deteriorate. Deteriorate. Yes, that's the word. In a time like this, at a time where you have a virus just waiting in the shadows to take advantage. So
Exactly.
at the end of the day, you guys who are drinking, who like to drink alcohol, just eat apples and carrots and stuff to boost
All
your
those
immune
veggies
system.
and
Yeah.
fruits.
And stay at home. Look at it this way: the faster we get through this phase of this flu,
This corona.
it's a flu actually, of this flu, the faster you will get your alcohol and your cigarettes back. Because it's not doing great. It's bad for the economy, and I think the black market will thrive. The black market will thrive. You're gonna make a whole lot of money, untaxed money, so that will not count to the economy. So just stay home, eat healthy things, spend time with family, stuff like that. I don't know, jog or something. Keep yourself busy. Maybe you never know. Maybe after this will be like rehabilitation. After that, maybe you might not think of even drinking alcohol again, which will be good for your pocket and your health.
But basically, from all of this thing, what I've seen is that these people, some of the people that have commented on this, they've been speaking and they've been saying this thing of saying, like, you guys, we understand that alcohol should be banned and everything, and it shouldn't be allowed back. But let's not say that in the country things have slowed down, sort of like your accidents, your theft, your killing. Let's not put it on the alcohol. This is what people are saying, that let's not make any excuse. Yes, alcohol is bad. I mean, all of the parties, they just agreed on that. So well done to the president for rejecting it today and stuff. But people are saying that things have decreased because there's a lockdown. Simple as that. People are not traveling. People are not going out. it's easy to identify people on the streets that are thugs or whatever, you understand? So for saying that it's because of alcohol is banned and then we have less accidents and what so forth, I would also beg to differ there. And somebody else said that you guys, you don't understand. People that are saying these things is people that do not drink. What if the president was drinking? What if, people who say this are drinking? Would they say that we should ban alcohol and stuff? You understand? Which is not banned, so to say. People maybe we shouldn't say it's banned.
It is banned for the meantime. It's currently illegal.
It's called what? Oh, okay, it is banned. Yeah, yeah, it is banned. Yeah, not forever because of the lockdown.
It's not forever. You're gonna have your alcohol back.
Exactly.
And you can't just say, "Oh, these things went down because of alcohol." Did you see that guy with an AK-47 wearing a military uniform? I don't know. I wouldn't speed if I saw someone with an AK-47 just standing around. There's police everywhere. I mean, come on. It's not just because of the alcohol. You can't speed. There's police. There's your traffic officers. Yeah. How are you gonna steal when there's a military occupant that is holding an AK-47? You can't do that. I mean, you must have some type of liver to say, you know what, I'm going to work today. I'm going to get my gloves and I'm going to steal a TV. Imagine risking your life for a TV. And those guys can shoot, pal. That's what they do. So, I don't know. I think criminals are just cautious. They're afraid. I mean, to hit a fidelity now, you don't only have the police, exactly, the military. The military, so it's not going to be easy. Yes, so basically, yeah, because the other thing that I've been thinking about, I mean, we've heard liquor shops that are being broken into. So you understand, we're not saying that it's a good thing or it's a bad thing to say that, saying that alcohol should be banned, you understand? Because let's look at the pros and the cons of it. Because now, the cons of it won't be that people are going to break more into these liquor shops. They're going to break more into these liquor shops and they're looking for those cigarettes. Because cigarettes is just another thing that we don't speak about. Somebody's been killed because of that thing. I mean, he didn't want to sell a packet of cigarettes and somebody just killed him for that. Imagine, so these bans, let's look at the pros and the cons, because we might end up saying that we're banning people from stuff whereby it would lead to increased crime, increased killings, the number of deaths. So we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I think cigarettes are worse than alcohol, actually. I think, I don't know. Okay, there's some people that they need that alcohol, they start shaking if they don't have it. That's a thing. I think there are extreme cases where people, that thing, you need it in your body. If you don't have it, you get sick. Of course, we understand that. But then, if you can recover from heroin or cocaine, if you don't have it, you can recover from alcohol. That's it's not really that deep. Okay, you're gonna shake, you're gonna sweat, it's gonna be painful, fine, but you're gonna recover. And at the end of the day, like I said before, you might never know. After that, you might not feel the need to buy alcohol, which is healthy for your body and your wallet. Your wallet, don't forget the wallet, because this stuff costs, especially now. Cigarettes going up, alcohol going up. Let's say you went to the black market and things in the black market, they get hiked up, especially things that can be classified as drugs. And yes, when I say drugs, alcohol is also classified as a drug, because it has certain side effects. Alcohol is a drug. So, yeah, and come on, guys, these things are healthy. I mean, I don't know. The people that will strongly disagree with my point of view, and yeah, it's your point of view. You can go with it, or you can just look at other people's point of views, and see. I don't know. We just need an outcome that suits everybody. Because somebody even said that, look, if we uplift the ban,
it's not like everybody is forced to buy alcohol. It's just people that are going to go and buy alcohol, you know. So I don't know. Since there's been some liftings that might be happening month end, we shall see what's going to happen. But let's not expect alcohol to be uplifted. It's one of those things that they're not going to be uplifted and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I just think that a lot of people struggle to deal with life in general. If you're used to taking a substance to deal with life, it's a problem. Especially now where you have to face those people that usually give you a problem. I.e., your wife, your daughter, your husband. You know, you're there with them every day, on your neck, every day. It's just that's until it's posing and they don't fight. So like it happens that thing would say, hey, I just need something so I can just sleep or something. Because some people can't sleep
without
alcohol. So you know there's that insomnia. So there's I think a lot of health factors also that need to be taken into consideration, because I think it's a wider topic than we're making it. So yeah, you know, it's rough. You just have to go with it, you know. There's nothing else, man. When the tough gets going, what do they say? When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So buckle up, man, and just
you might be heading for 3 months. Who knows?
Yes, definitely. I think they're gonna extend it. I think they know that they're gonna extend it. It's like that thing that we'll give you hints that we're going to extend it, but I don't want to tell you now. Yeah, we're gonna tell you half. So they're just giving us this thing half-halves because there's already been measures that have been put into place that suggest that this thing will be extended. Plus, it's getting cold. The coronavirus likes the cold. You know, people are still moving around. Some people don't have masks and gloves, so it's about to get rough. So all you have to do is buckle up, prepare yourself, and expect the worst. You know, if it doesn't happen, then great. If it does happen, then you're prepared. You know, so yeah, it's rough out here. Yeah. Yeah, you know, so I think that's it for the alcohol. Yeah, the alcohol was just about that. It was majorly trending because the president gave a feedback that they've rejected it. I said no. Yeah, I wouldn't even give a big speech. I would just say no. You just get out of it. You gotta think about it. Even yourself, as a person who drinks alcohol, who's pushing for this thing? It's the billionaires. Yeah. The people, they are safe in their homes. You know, where at the end of the day, you have to go to ShopRite, liquor stores. That's coronavirus exposure. Exactly. You know, there's potential coronavirus exposure. And if you get exposed to it and drink alcohol, it will hit you even worse. Yeah. You know, so at the end of the day, you have to look at who's pushing for it and who is it good for. Is it good for you? You know, people just want to make money off you. Exactly. You know, just remember, billionaires don't make money. They don't do it the work. They just collect the funds. Most definitely. Yes. So yeah, it is what it is. And then I think gotta move on to our next one. Yeah. Which is the next one I think is unique. Yeah, you spoke about unique. I think there is a bit of a hashtag of it. Yeah, I think there is a hashtag. Unique. For those who are studying, they're doing this distance learning. Like some of us were doing this. There's because of this corona, but there's that lack of there's lack of drive, man. Like I think like most of us felt like we're probably not gonna write the examination, which is true. We're not writing normal examinations. You know, we're just gonna be an assessment type thing that they're gonna put together, and then I don't know how they're gonna do it. I think they're still gonna communicate more. I think it's going to differ from subject to subject, because what I've seen is that they said one guy wrote that on theirs, actually their subject, I think they've already got a feedback about it. I don't know how true it is, but it's just circulating a bit, and they sent them a message on. They say you have to check your my UNISA all the time, from time to time every week, because he said the guy that they send the paper, they send you the paper on the day that you're writing, and then they give you 2 hours. They say maybe all the papers, I think all the papers will be received to people by 8 o'clock, or
8:30, so that when it hits 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, it's a start time, and then they give you 15 minutes to send the paper back. So those are, I think, is one of the strategies that is going to be used. The other one, people spoke about portfolios. They say that they're going to give portfolios, whereby some said it's going to start maybe at midnight over, and then the whole day probably, or up until a certain time. And somebody said the portfolio it's 4 hours. So we not. There are people that know how they've done this before in the past. They've experienced it, so they are the ones that have better knowledge of how it's going to work, and it's probably going to be at their advantage. And the other thing you just say, they say they're not going to tolerate plagiarism or any cheating. So we don't know how it's going to pan out.
Yeah, but how are you going to stop this though?
That's the thing. It's going to be difficult to stop people. And the other thing that we should look at, I mean, even if people are not moving around, when it's exam time, you know how people they get. They just go crazy and stuff. So, but the biggest thing that I think it's there. Let's just applaud UNISA for another thing, because most of these universities, I don't think people are going to write exams, those type of things. Even though they say grade 12s and grade 7s are going back to school on the 6th, I think, of May. So we don't know.
But so they're gonna give them the whole school, just grade 7 and 12.
Grade 7 and 12.
Then they're gonna split them up in the classes. I don't know, that will work.
So probably do work, but I think what UNISA has done, I think other universities should start implementing this as we go in. These changes.
The problem is that now it hits them, they were not prepared.
Yeah.
Like the plan wasn't there. Nobody thought that this could happen. So because no one thought it could happen, there were no preparations that were put in place. You know, there was no someone who saw or who had a futuristic view of what could happen. So UNISA, I think it's ahead of the curves, because, you know, I think because they started this distance learning, I don't think like UNISA would have been prepared if they also were like other varsities. You know, it's just that they already started this thing a long time ago for distance learning. You know, so they are better equipped to respond better than other varsities.
Which is it's more of an advanced method, because for me these guys, they think ahead. You know why? Because today is the 22nd. They've already sent out these messages stating that they've seen the future. They've accepted that May and June, we can't have exams. We can't have those normal exams. You understand? And they've planned ahead before even they speak about an extension. They've spoken about an extension of 2 weeks. They've planned ahead of those 2 weeks. They already stated that.
Yeah.
If other people can't be able to write this distance learnings, because honestly speaking, there are people that they do not have laptops. Let's be realistic. They don't have laptops. They don't have an access to the internet. They might not have data and everything. They're not well equipped to use those things. Yeah. So what they say is that, unfortunately for them, they will be deferred to the next semester, which they're going to write their exams in October, October, November. And they said, guys, don't worry about it. No extra costs and no extra. I think there's something else that they said. It won't be extra to the people. They will just be deferred to the next. So tough luck for those people. Probably they were finishing in this semester, you know.
That's how life is, man.
Yeah.
Lemons, yeah? Life and lemons, yeah? It's tough, okay. It's not easy. There's a lot of people taking blows at the moment.
Exactly.
You know,
there's a whole lot.
You know, so at the end of the day, you just gotta take it on the chin. Like I said, sometimes you just have to expect the worst, prepare yourself for the worst. And then if it doesn't happen, then yeah, you're right. But if it happens, then you are equipped to deal with that situation. There was also like this thing on Twitter. This guy said he didn't pay his taxi driver. And his taxi driver said he wanted the money. But then the taxi driver didn't transport the kid to school. So what do? Do you pay the taxi driver or not? I said, look, it's your money, you do whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, you pay the taxi driver. He goes, he feeds his family, they extend the lockdown, you guys are hungry. You know, so self-preservation as well. So kudos to UNISA for for the reaction. Some people might not be so happy because they were relaxed. They thought, that's it. We're not writing this year. So now they gotta read up, brush up, and get ready.
Be prepared.
So how they do it, we'll see. And we'll see how they combat plagiarism. You can't stop. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I think you're not gonna catch them on.
Yeah.
I know for sure there's gonna be plagiarism.
Yeah, most definitely. And cheating is going to be there, most definitely.
I mean, come on, man. I know a guy that went into matric examinations with with a scope, with what do you call crib notes. He had like he wrote the answers on thingy on a paper. He's going to matric.
It is crib notes. Yeah.
And he could have. You get caught, you get banned for 3 years, I think. So for somebody to take that risk, to have that amount of level, and now we give them the opportunity to stay home, Google stuff. Come on, the black people, and we know these things. Exactly. We know these things. We just have to admit that we know these things, and it's gonna be an uphill battle for the people that are gonna be marking and checking for the plagiarism. So it might affect
It's going to be
the marking process.
Yeah. It's going to be very strict.
It's going to be tough, man. So, I don't know. Everybody should just buckle up. Strap up there and, get ready.
You're lucky if you're a UNICEF student at this time.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen at the other facilities.
But they're doing, what do you call them? Those who have computers and stuff. They're doing this online learning thing.
You've just been fighting about it. They say they can't deal about this whole online thing.
They can't.
Yeah.
Why?
They can't deal. They're not used to it. They don't even know how it works.
Oh.
So
yeah, they're not prepared.
They're not prepared. They ain't got time for this thing.
They didn't see the curve, now they're falling up the road. It's how it happens. Some people misbehave on those things. I mean, if your teacher cannot reprimand you or is not physically there, you can do whatever. There's a lack of. Some people
you won't understand,
because you need that physical presence of the teacher.
So if somebody is alone, because the other thing that they said that it's going to be a bit tough for the accounting students. Accounting is not child's play. So,
yeah, that's not.
They do need the teachers and they need to engage in dialogue, so to say. Somebody when is in class, they're able to ask if they don't understand something.
Yeah.
So now how do you deal with that? So
guys, just adapt and survive. That's how it is.
That's how it is. Survival of the fittest.
Jungle law, jungle law, guys.
So basically, there's a video that I've seen on. I think Vusi Tembakwayo. If you don't know the guy, you probably don't know one of the most successful entrepreneurs that is in South Africa. He's one of the most successful, I guess. I don't know who the other, but he's one that is out there. He's a motivational speaker and has a company called My Growth Fund, I think. Yeah, so he funds startups, but startups that have a concrete background whereby they have money and what so forth. You understand? So I think he actually posted a video, and he just wanted views on this guy. I don't know his name. He just posted a clip of him. He was saying a speech at UJ, and then he was speaking about Africa, and he was speaking about if Africa were to become, United States of Africa or something as one. He said this thing was proposed back then and some were against it, whereby we all know that your likes of Gaddafi were the ones that were pushing for this thing to happen, that if Africa could have one, could be one actually, and have one president and have one ministers and all those type of things. But there were people that opposed it. He was so-called this guy, I think they call him Nyere or something. He imposed it and he said, let's go the slow way whereby we do your SADC, whereby gradually we become one Africa, which is this what they actually, most of the people agreed on. So I saw the video and I was like, I watched it twice actually. That's why I'm like, it just caught my attention. When I watched it first, I was like, what is going on here? This guy basically said that we can't we can't have one president. Imagine just telling all of these people there's going to be one president in Africa. That's the first thing. The second thing, I watched it again. I wanted to understand the logic behind it. And it just rang to me, and I just wrote, and I was like, you know what? First things first, we need to rise above the hate, because the biggest problem that we have in Africa is hate. We have tribalism. I mean, we hate each other like nobody's business, you know. You might be black. Well, the minute you speak another language, I don't like you for speaking another language, you know. So I wrote that. People came in, you know, they started commenting about it. Some say yes, it's because of tribalism. Some say it's because of religion, you know, those type of things, because one believes in this, one believes in that. So there's too much diversity. Even the language came in, you know, and he said, some say, spoke about pride, that black people have pride. The corruption came in. Everybody just came in, and then we spoke about this thing. We say, you know what, there's a lot. If Africa needs to become one, and for it to become one, we can't I for one say that we can't call it United States of Africa, because it's the same as saying United States of America. All we changed, we're still going to be USA. We need to adapt. I said we need to go back to the basics. Let's go back. Somebody even spoke that. Let's go back. Let's teach our children about our languages. I mean, English and French is one of the biggest languages that we actually uplifted and so stuff. So somebody spoke about those languages, that we should go back to our languages. So I'm saying that if this thing needs to work, we need to look at a lot of factors, and it's going to take time. So I would have agreed with the Gaddafis and stuff, saying that let's push this thing as quick as possible. We start and we know where we're heading.
Yeah. One of the biggest problems that I can see is that black people are too nice. Let me put it like that. You're too nice, you know, too gradual, too. You want to include everyone. Want to make people comfortable. Too slow. You understand? Like at the end of the day, I think they just said, okay, fine. We're gonna have challenges, but we're going in that direction, and we're gonna force people towards that direction. You understand? Because sometimes you beat your child, right? You beat your child. Like, parents beat their children so much. So, and okay, maybe not now, but back in the day, they used to beat your child. But why did you beat your child? So you can steer your child towards the right direction, because the child doesn't know any better. Exactly. So for the people that know better, you should force people in that direction. You know, I think like if Gaddafi were to force the issue and he had the support and they forced it as a group at that time, at that particular time, I think it would have been, it would have been better. It would have been successful, and would have been better accepted, and people would have fought for it.
Let's look at Singapore. Singapore is one of the most developed. We should call it a continent. I don't know. We probably call it a country, but Singapore is first class now. And you know what happened with Singapore? Singapore, the guy just said that everybody that works, from the early 20s, when you start, you save money. I think it's a third of your salary. That's a force. If you don't save, you probably go to jail for that. You are forced to save third of your money in the bank account, because he said the minute you hit your 40s, you become an instant millionaire. Simple as that. So Singapore forced people to do those things. If you don't do it, you go to jail. Because the other thing, Singapore is very well organized, that in a sense whereby it even tells you when you go into the country. I don't know if they still enforce it. It's an old video that I saw about it. They literally make you read their signs that, do you understand all of these things that we have here in Singapore. If you don't understand, they call somebody to help you understand. If still you don't understand it, they ship you back to wherever you came from. You don't get in the country. You understand? Or it's the continent. So Singapore made it an actual fact that we're going to stick to these rules. We're going to put these measures down, and we're going to succeed. Look at Singapore now. Take a look at Singapore. I'm telling you.
So basically, they said Singapore is like, okay, when in Rome, do like the Romans. It's like when in Singapore, you have to do like people in Singapore. You have to be a Singapore person,
whatever they call it.
So yeah, that's another thing. You know, instead of this soft accepting thing, that's, I think that's the biggest thing about Africa. There's this soft acceptance thing, and this thing about you don't like other people. I think that it's 50-50 because everybody is a representation of that tribe. So if someone has, let's say, has bad experiences with Tonga people, and maybe they had like 5 bad experiences with Tonga people, that is their view of how Tonga people are. And you find that maybe like 90% of the entire population of Tonga people are not like that 5 people. Understand? So I think there is that. You know, there's this thing that Nigerians are drug dealers.
You know that it's
Nigerians are black people. For the majority of people that most of us have come across or have seen depicted in movies and shows and stuff like that, they're generally drug dealers and bad people. But I have met pretty good people, you know, good Nigerian people. You know, my teacher, you know, taught me. He's a Nigerian. He's a cool guy. He's a very nice person. You know, so the people, you know, it's just the representation that's the problem.
Exactly.
Because most of the time, most of the people that break borders, they're criminals. It's true. So you don't get to see the good people.
You understand? So there's a lot of challenges in it, but I think the better we start, the better we become. Because somebody even said that the way that the Ngunis and the Shona people and whatever they are in Zimbabwe, they like more each other, because even if you go check, the most friendliest country that we have in Africa, go look at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, it's like the way they treat each other, the whatever, because there is Sutu people, there is Tonga people, and there is the Ngunis and whatever, the Zulus. They treat each other differently. Like they don't care whether you're Zulu or whatever. They just blend, you understand? Because they know that we all black people and we want the same thing for each other. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we spoke about a lot of things in that group. It was just dynamics, and somebody even said that, look, the biggest thing that we have in Africa, or the biggest problem that we have as black people, is talk. We're always talking. Your Martin Luther King, your Malcolm X from America, your Tupacs, all they did, they never implemented anything. Tell me about one leader that implemented a strategy. All they did was just talk. All they did was just talk. Those people, they talked. If they had a strategy, today we should be following that strategy.
But then they killed them, though, isn't it?
They did kill them, but the time that they had, what were they implementing? We don't implement anything. All we do is, when somebody talks, we clap hands and we applaud until somebody, the next person, the next person comes in, they start talking, we applaud. You know, somebody said that you just keep on applauding things that are being said by people, and we're not implementing, because the biggest thing that we should be doing is acting on the words that we're saying. I think that would solve everything.
Yeah, we need more Mugabes.
Exactly. You see, Mugabe implemented, and Gaddafi did too.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. The thing, the more you start to talk, when you're gonna start talking, you're not gonna start doing stuff on your own. The more you talk, the more people listen. The bigger your following has, the more the more your United States, your China's, your Russia's, the more they pay attention to what you're saying. You know, And if you're saying something that would potentially cause them a problem, because they're looking ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Gaddafi said, United Africa, he said, own currency, own economy, complete disaster for every other major house, especially America, the biggest powerhouse everywhere. That's a problem. That's a problem because they don't have resources. America doesn't have resources. They feed, it's like their tits, they're just sucking the world. They just take things from the world and they recycle it and sell it back to us.
Exactly. And we got all the minerals and everything. The whole of Africa, if you see it, we have everything. But we're still struggling, you know? And because we are trying to face up to continents while we have been split into countries. You see, the biggest problem is also the
that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, they call the continent a country, so they thought you marginalize yourself.
Exactly. We are marginalized.
It's this thing, divide and conquer.
Exactly.
Africa is so divided. Why was it divided? Because they were conquering us, isn't it? They were colonizing us, separating us. That's how they do it. So to combat that and go forward, you have to unite.
Exactly. That's why my hashtag was Africa Unite for this thing. I just had to create that hashtag, so hashtag Africa Unite.
So it's a big issue and it's a big problem, and I think if it gains steam to a point where it is a problem and people like your America start taking note of the thing, it's gonna be the biggest war you've ever seen. That is World War III, because
most definitely
Africa having its own currency. And then it's just trading at a different scale, and the economy would just be so massive. It would be a complete disaster for America. Like, your economy would practically crash.
Most definitely. And who would be powerhouses?
What would be the biggest powerhouse? There's nobody would have been bigger than Africa. Because if we trade in gold, if you look at trade, they say gold is worth so much. So it means that if you have a gold coin, somebody has to pay you the equivalent of that gold coin. And what do we do with gold? We mine it. That's all we do with it. We mine it. They have to buy it.
You know, there's this what's the digital currency? They mine. There's people that mine that thing.
It's mining. If you can mine it, it's yours. You have it. You are the one who's selling it. No one is the one that's in control. You're selling it to them. Understand? So
and gold, like we're saying, gold is more. It's more valuable than paper money.
Yeah. So if you, it's like you take money and turn it into gold, and then you sell it. And for us, it'd be as usual.
Exactly.
It'd be a problem for everyone outside of Africa. So that was the problem. They saw that thing. They're like, oh, okay, this man has to go. And that's the thing. It's like, I think there's also a problem with leadership. I think leaders are they're too greedy with the leadership, because most of the time there's no succession. You understand? There's no one handing over to say, okay, I have mentored you. We've been doing this so long. You know the values. You know where we're going. So when I step down, you go in. Understand? So because there's no mentorship, it's like, okay, I step down, and then another person comes in. They come in with a different mindset, a different goal, a different direction. So everything gets pulled apart.
Exactly.
That's a problem. I mean,
so, you know.
Sorry, Manchester United fans. Look at what happened to Manchester United. So Ferguson didn't have like a success.
He doesn't have a success. I don't think that guy would have had a success. But anyway, let's leave this for another day, because we can speak about this the whole day, the whole night, and whatever. But there's some big issues in Africa. We need to address them. We need to engage. We need to have a plan. There's a lot that needs to be done in Africa. That's why I'm saying that Africa should just unite for the sake of our whatever. Maybe there's gonna be future kids. We don't know when we're gone, but we need to disrupt and let Africa close the borders, because somebody just chowed 37 million with a fence that just costed, I don't know, it was the most cheapest fence that they put across the border. So we would even be
That's the problem.
Yeah, we'll be eliminating those type of things. So
if you had a guy like that guy from there's this guy called from Nigeria. I think it's a part of Nigeria. They call it Sokuto, something like that. You know, the guy doubled payment relief. What's called? I think it was payment for healthcare workers.
Yeah.
So they get double their salary because of this COVID-19. And then they don't even have a case. They don't even have one case and he has doubled it already. So if you have that type of selfless leadership, if you could have that type of selfless leadership across the board, people that think about their people, I think will go a long way. And that is what is required for for Africa. Not United States of Africa, just Africa combining and become one. That's what we need, selfless leadership. You know, not why. Okay, why you president? Why am I not president?
Exactly.
No. You know, let's support each other, move each other, put together a plan, and go at it. You know, but then it's gonna take a couple hundreds of years because I'm sure it's gonna be a big war.
Century.
They might even kill us all. So
exactly.
It's a very dangerous plan also.
I think that's it about Africa. Yeah. We leave it wide open.
Yeah, guys, comment.
Yeah. So the other thing that I always watch and I always check because I was thinking, okay, what am I gonna put today in the show? So I think it's been since the lockdown. Tumi. Yeah, they call him Stocky T now. He calls himself Stocky T. I've been following the guy ever since I've been in high school. So he started Freestyle Fridays and he was like making South Africa rap again, those type of stuff, applying the pressure, which has definitely been applying the pressure for me in this whole hip hop game thingy. So I took a look at it because every Friday I sometimes watch the freestyles if I don't forget. So I watched it last week. I didn't. I just caught up with it and stuff. So what he does is that he puts up a verse every Friday, rapping and whatever over a beat or without a beat and stuff. And then after that, he gets other artists to even Sneaker ended up getting on it last week. I was very surprised because I think it's because of this lockdown. So he does that, and then every Friday, also from 5 o'clock on his Instagram, he puts up a live show whereby he searches for upcoming or rappers, so to say, that will rap on the next show, whereby he'll put them on the catalog of the next Friday. So I think he started a movement. It catches my eye because I listen to rap and I follow hip hop, so to say. So it caught my interest in the sense that for a movement like that, I think he needs to put it out there. He needs maybe his channel, so to say, but it's still growing. I might be thinking big, I might be thinking out of the box, but for me, he's growing. So I think he needs a bigger platform. But I think he's being supported by other artists. But it can become something big. Not taking anything away from him. Let him do whatever he thinks he wants to do with it. But I think for now, it's rare to get those type of shows. I mean, you don't get those type of things whereby people just need to express themselves musically, because there's I think it's one of the topics that we're going to talk about, right? The lockdown. Yeah. Like your hashtag lockdown house party. Like, hashtag freestyle Fridays, put them on the TVs and whatever. So it's a great thing that he started. I kind of liked it and it grabbed my attention, and I thought like I would give it a shout and my view on what it is and how it is. But you people who can rap, stop going into that show because you chow my data and you just go there and put bars that are not even there. So.
But how do you know that you don't know how to rap? No.
Well, basically, you should know. You should understand how it is. I mean,
a lot of people catch hype. You know, that's why we get all this nonsense on TV, you know, because of the hype, you know. So for Do Me, you know, I like it because, you know, there's no blockbuster names there, you know. I think he just finds somebody, you know, thinks that can rap, likes them, puts them on. So because that, there's no politics,
Exactly.
you know. There's just, hey, bro, you can rap, let the people hear you. You know, he uses his platform. A lot of people follow him, so a lot of people get to see the guy's video if he's rapping, and if he has music, they might search for the music.
Exactly.
You know, so
promoting himself too.
so it starts there. So you know, hey man,
Because what people don't understand is that freestyles used to be big back then. You know, freestyles were the thing that taught people how to rap. Freestyles were like the center of rapping, you understand? Yeah. So people would hold ciphers. We don't get ciphers anymore now. There's less ciphers and there's less those things, you know. So, like, he's bringing back a culture of, like, actually he's fighting for the culture to stay relevant, so to say, because we can even say that the culture might be dying, but he's fighting for the culture to stay relevant. You understand? Because that's the other thing that he's doing for the whole rap culture thing, to say, look, we're still here, it still exists. Let's push it, you know. Somebody that might be starting, you know, like when you start to freestyle, you don't know whether you can freestyle or you can't freestyle. So the more you freestyle and think, that's when you know that, okay, I can freestyle, I can rap, I can do this, you know. It builds confidence in you. So that's what I'm saying, like, you know, freestyling, it has helped a lot of people know how to rap, you know, that type of thing. So
if you don't know how to rap, please
stay away from the names. Yeah.
You know, because it's different. Rap, you know, rap is different to your these other things that you kids are listening to. What is the thing they call it, man? This thing that doesn't make sense. You just jump around and.
What is it? The trap music.
Trap, yeah. Trap. They ruined T.I.'s idea. Like the original trapper was T.I., and he made like it was a mixture of rap and this trap style, and then they just completely ruined it and did whatever they wanted to do with it. So there's a difference, because with rap you need to know English.
Exactly.
Or you need to know language. Let me say English. You need to know language because you gotta put your power.
Words, metaphors, flow.
That's the whole thing. You know, it's like saying something. You can say a pen. You know what I'm saying? You can say I'm writing down. You know, but then when you say like maybe
express yourself.
Yeah, you make the pen bleed. It's different. It's the same. It's like I make the pen right, and that's plain. And then when you make it bleed, it's different. It has like a different type of feel to it. So that's the whole point of hip hop. You're just saying something that is plain in an interesting way.
Exactly.
You know, so you know, kudos to me for that. You know, I don't know. Maybe some of us might even, you know, try our luck. You know, and do some stuff. You know, lockdown things. You know, got the time, might as well. You know, so,
exactly.
I mean, thanks for the people that are making the best out of this lockdown.
Exactly.
Making it a productive thing.
Yeah. You know, that's what they say. You should learn a new skill during this lockdown.
Yeah, I heard DJ Spoo's learning how to trade.
Yes.
Yeah, he said
he's learning how to trade.
Books. That's another. Oh my God, there's a lot of people that are sleeping on DJ Spoo. That more fire thing or that thing.
I think we'll talk about him more.
Yeah, I think next show
we should put him on, because that guy people, they don't know what he's doing. His muscle is very big. So shout out to DJs who on that.
That's something else, man. I also thought about him, like, oh, he's taking a hit too, because he can't run around the streets and stuff.
Yes, definitely.
So, but then at the end of the day, I mean, I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah,
it's going to be a huge company. You know what I mean?
It's evaluated at 110 million. Currently, 110.
Look at that. And the guy's still running around in the streets.
Well, it's evaluated at 110
million. It's still running around the streets.
It's worth
when they tell you to go sell avocados there, you're complaining.
Yeah, so we should put that.
So I think, I mean, like, for one person that I would really like to talk to would have to be DJ Spoo, because I think to get a chance to sit down with him and Google his brain to see how he thinks and his this business thing. That would be nice because it's very rare that you see somebody that he's very successful. You know?
I think maybe we should try and get him on. I don't think
yeah, maybe we can. Maybe he will. You know,
because it's for small businesses and what so forth, and like it's for people pushing what they're pushing and stuff. So.
Yeah, and that all comes from the mindset, you know. And so, there are people that they even have smaller businesses than he has, and you wouldn't see them running around the street. You know, they wouldn't pride. So I think that you'll be a very interesting person to talk to and just Google his brain, see what's in there, see the mindset, see how it goes. You know, it could be beneficial because you never know. Some people don't mind sharing.
Exactly.
They don't mind
sharing. I don't think you would.
So that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll try and get him. We'll try and text him or the thing.
Yeah, maybe he'll respond. Maybe see the videos also. That would be nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah. Maybe that's the end of the show. I don't know. So unfortunately today, due to discrepancies,
some unforeseen circumstances, whatever they want.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll put it here. We'll end it here. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. You know the hashtag, right? Hashtag current events 0405. And yeah. Catch you live on our next one.
Yeah, hit it back. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment. Let's talk, people. Let's grow. Let's move towards the same direction. Let's have different point of views and let's just move. Bye. See you guys.